Why is cheese so hard to give up, and what can you do about it? Hi, I'm Ama Opari here with Dr. Nanakweko Opari, and we're here to talk about why it is when you're going vegan, breaking the cheese habit can be one of the hardest things you do. I'm here outside in my Tanzanian yard, and you can hear the chickens from the neighbor. So I'm Ama Opari, and I'm here with Dr. Nanakweko Opari, who is the medical director and president of Opari Institute, of which Food for the Soul is one piece of. And he is our nutrition expert. And so to talk about why cheese is so hard to give up when you're making the transition to a vegan diet, I thought, let's just go straight to Dr. Opari and hear what he has to say. So welcome.
Thank you, Emma.
And so tell us, is dairy so bad, cheese so bad for us?
Well, yes, it is. I like to look at dairy as really what it is. If you compare sausage and bacon and ham to meat, well, cheese is the processed meat of dairy.
Wow.
So everybody knows that bacon's bad for you. Well, cheese is worse for you than milk.
But don't we need cheese and dairy? Don't we need that to get our calcium and our, and whatever else that it comes with the dairy?
Dairy is not even one of the best sources of numerical calcium in terms of the actual concentration of calcium in it, but it's certainly very poor for calcium that sticks in the body. Mm-hmm. And so when you drink milk, actually you end up with a net calcium loss. Okay. Because of the types of proteins in milk cause the calcium to be lost through urinating it out. Mm-hmm. So what you find is that people or populations that drink the most dairy, take the most dairy or most milk, mm-hmm. have the softest bones and the worst calcium balance. Mm-hmm. People populations who eat no dairy, but do eat lots of green leafy vegetables, which is the best source of calcium, okay. have very strong bones and very little osteoporosis. So no, you don't effectively get calcium from milk. So this whole idea, it's a myth. That milk is good for your bones. As a matter of fact, milk doesn't do your body good, it does your body in. Mm. So it's probably, it's not probably, it's certainly, of all the commonly available foodstuffs, the most disastrous thing you could put in your body. It has all the negative aspects of meat, mm-hmm. Plus a lot more, mm-hmm. That are only associated with dairy, mm-hmm. Such as lactose, where people who are after infancy, the majority of the world's population can't digest lactose, which is the sugar, which is what makes cow's milk sweet. And so you get lactose intolerance, mm-hmm. and you get sick from that. You get bloating, you get loose stools, you get gastric pains, you get gas, and it's not well digested for people. So milk in itself is bad. Now you take milk and then you turn it into cheese, and you turn a minimally processed substance, which milk is, because it's almost always pasteurized, which is processing, mm-hmm. and you turn it into a highly processed thing by treating it with enzymes, which usually come from pig stomach. It's called rennet, mm-hmm. and that causes it to curdle. Then it's dehydrated, and then it's often also treated with other chemicals like calcium, chloride calcium, to firm it up, and then it's often spoiled after that with bacteria to give it the nice camembert or the Roquefort taste. It's actually rotted with bacteria as well. So
Sounds nasty.
it is, and it also carries a large number of infectious disease like paratuberculosis, which has been implicated quite directly in the cause of juvenile diabetes. And it has a lot of other proteins in it that are known to cause a lot of other health problems, like the proteins in itself. The casein in itself is bound to a chemical, in a complex chemical called caseomorphones, or caseomorphins. Caseomorphins are morphine-like substances that react to the body like morphine does.
That's why we can't give it up.
Well, you actually develop a physical dependency on it. And that's good if you're a calf who would tend to wander off looking for whatever, but if you know that your mother's going to make you feel better, you won't feel that craving anymore. You stick with your mom, with the cow. So in people, there's a real problem because you physically develop a dependency to it. And actually in infants, it's been implicated as a primary contributor to crib death, to sudden infant death syndrome. When children are given cow's milk, the cow's milk caseomorphines in certain kids aren't well metabolized, and then the kid develops respiratory depression as a consequence of that. The cheese is basically dehydrated, spoiled, curdled milk, and it has high fat, it's high cholesterol. And in the U.S. diet, it's the number one source of cholesterol and saturated fat, which are implicated in a whole variety of health issues as well. So from a health standpoint, it's a disaster, and it causes you to physically be dependent for a number of reasons. There's a concept called the bliss point, which was developed through the food industry, and where they found that if you tailor the percentage of fat, salt, and sugar in a food, it reacts addictively and you can't get enough. Lay's potato chips knew that quite well when they said can't stop eating them, or you can't just, or you can't eat just one. I remember in Chicago there was a potato chip called Jay's potato chips, Jay's, and you can't stop eating them is what they called it.
Okay.
And literally you get into withdrawal symptoms and craving for that. So now if you take cheese and you add it to a starch, which is commonly how it's eaten, that starch, if it's a white starch, quickly is metabolized into sugar, and so the fat and the high salt content in cheese is a very strong bliss point substance. So yeah, it is physically dependent. You cause physically dependency to it. So also because it's so smooth and has such good mouthfeel, that type of, you get accustomed to that. And that mouthfeel is not something that's commonly found in plant foods. Unless you intentionally you seek that mouthfeel. And the best way to do that is with nuts. You can make nuts into nut cheese, literally. Cashew cheese is a great type of sesame cheese. Many of the seeds and all the other and the nuts can be ground up and made into a raw nut cheese, or you can make it into a partially cooked nut cheese as well. Yeah. So that is a substitute for people who are transitioning. But I think more so the issue is that because it affects you addictively, it's very difficult to cut down. It's like if you're addicted to cigarettes or alcohol, it's very difficult to cut down. And so people, if they want to try and quit smoking, well, then they go to low tar cigarettes. Or if they want to quit drinking, they're going to go to alcohol-free beer. That's a losing proposition because it's never as good as the real thing.
Right.
And so the best way approach, and the reason why we are so involved with the concept at the Opari Institute, is to do a fast. And that's where the optimum fast that we developed, and we wrote a book together on, comes in. Because it understands that if you're addicted to something, you've got to cut it, you've got to stop doing it. You got to detox. And the only way to effectively detox from any type of addictive behavior or substance is to stop entirely. It's the best way. Because when you stop entirely, you give your body a chance to flush the drug out of your system or the substance out of your system or the behavioral pattern of out of your emotional body, psychic, spiritual state, and then give yourself a chance to rebuild yourself in terms of eating anew. So we really are really focused on helping people actually heal from this addiction to cheese as opposed to substituting it in with something else. And that's basically the approach that we take.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that several things came to my mind as I'm listening to you. One is that, yes, the fast is a good way to break the addiction. And also that, one of the things that has to happen is a mindset type of thing. I mean, we talk about the 4 pillars of success, and one of which is deep self-understanding and really changing how you think about food and vegan food as compared to what you ate before. And, instead of trying to make things taste like they did before, just enjoy the tastes that you get. I remember when I was newly vegan and we were having pizza together, and we had pizza without cheese on it, and I was very surprised that it actually could taste really good. No, it didn't taste like the pizza I had before, but actually I think it tasted even better because we put sun-dried tomatoes and mushrooms and broccoli and olive oil and garlic and herbs, olives, all kinds of things on it, and it was so tasty. And I found that I didn't really miss the cheese. So yeah, really doing some mindset change, and we also to say that on the Food for the Soul website and in my recipe book there are some recipes for nut cheeses. There also are some nut cheeses that I'm going to be experimenting with that are more made similar to other kinds of cheeses, only using the nut milks with using agar-agar and some kind of fermented something to actually, you can do an aged cheese type of thing. So I'm interested in exploring those.
Can't wait to see what you come up with. And I know I'm going to be the guinea pig.
Yes, you will. So there you have it. There is the reason why you need to give up your cheese, as well as some things that you can do. The juice fasting, trying things without cheese, trying some plant-based cheeses.
The idea of giving up is letting go of.
Letting go of, I like that.
You're not giving it up. You give up something as a value. You let go of something you don't need anymore.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Opare, for your insights in helping us understand why it is we need to give up that cheese. And
Well, do you mean why is it we need to let go of that cheese?
Why it is we need to let go of that cheese, because we're not giving up anything. What are we getting? We're getting less mucus, clearer skin.
You're letting go of mucus. You're letting go of bad skin. You're letting go of heart disease and cancer
all that stuff I don't want anyway.
and diabetes.
Yeah.
And you're getting good health and vibrant energy and clear nose.
Clear nose and good food, because food can taste just as good or even better without the cheese.
Actually, it tastes much better.
It does taste much better, much better. So if you need some help on how to make your food taste great even without that cheese, make sure you come over to Food for the Soul for some good recipes. And you can download my free ebook to unlock the secrets of a flavor-filled kitchen. You can also pick up a copy of Food for the Soul from Amma's Kitchen, my recipe book. And
the Optimum Fast.
The Optimum Fast, we also have a training and an ebook about that. So if you're interested in learning the best and safest way to do a juice fast so that you can break those addictions and start your plant-based journey on a new foot, come on over to foodforthesoul.opare.net. They'll put links to all of those resources down below, or they're in cards above or something.
And you can also find me on WhatsApp and on Telegram. On Telegram at the Rule Book of Bibi Fahodie, and on WhatsApp at Gee, I don't know the WhatsApp, she'll put the links to those both on WhatsApp and Telegram.
So for Food for the Soul, I'm Ama Opare, and
I'm Dr. Nana Kwaku Opare, and we're here in Tanzania, and we're chilling.
till next time, see you later. Bye-bye.